Always great talking to my next guest, Chris Weidman, who's going to be back in action next Saturday in the co-main event of UFC Fight Night. He's going to be taking on Omari Akhmedov back at middleweight. Chris, how's it going, man?
Going well, man. Getting trimmed, ready for this fight, ready to make weight again. I feel great, and welcome to the Chris Weidman Cooking Show.
I was going to say, what are you making? I have to ask right off the top.
We got to eat clean, bro. Stir fry. We got some shrimp, carrots, broccoli, some peas, and little spices, the whole thing. And I got my gallon of water, so I am fully hydrated, and it's going to taste really good.
Of course, some big news ahead of this fight is that I see you're now with VaynerMedia for representation. They made a big press release yesterday at the time of recording this. How did this all come together? Pretty big deal getting to work with Gary V and his brother.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how it happened. So Lloyd Pearson, I'd signed with Lloyd Pearson, who was with Ballinger Group. And I guess sometime after I had signed with him, I guess he was looking for different things, or there was different opportunities offered to him. And Gary V was one of them. And he made the decision to go with Gary V. And I decided to stay with Lloyd because he's pretty much who I signed with over at Ballinger. And I moved on over to the Vayner Sports. And I'm super excited. I'm a fan of Gary V. I've watched him for a while. He's super motivational. And so to be able to be in with him, I think it's going to be super beneficial for the fighters, especially for me. I'm not the greatest with social media, and Gary V, I feel like, is the best. So to be able to have him to kind of show us the ropes and help us out and guide us is definitely going to be a huge positive thing for us.
And I know it's been a bit of a weird year for everyone with COVID and everything like that. I know initially you were supposed to fight Jack Hermanson, but if I'm not mistaken, you were out of that fight even before COVID took place, right? There was some issue with you getting to fight him?
No. So I was scheduled to fight him May 2nd, and then he couldn't come over from Europe. So
Gotcha.
then they said he could get over from Europe on June 6th. I think it was June 6th. Pretty sure it was. And then I said yes. He said yes, and they were going to make it happen. Then, a week goes by, and they got back in touch with me and said, he can't make it. And then they offered the kid Edmen, whatever his name is. There you go, Armenian. And I said yes to him, and apparently he wasn't ready to fight. There was a couple other names. Yoel Romero was supposed to be after the first one on May 2nd. I said yes, and they scrapped that card altogether. I think I don't know. Did they scrap the May 2nd card?
They did, yeah. They moved a lot of the stuff over.
That was one of the cards that got scrapped, right? Because I had a couple different dates that it's hard to kind of keep track of. But so they scrapped that, and then they ended up. Then they offered me July 11th against or July whatever it was. Basically, that International Fight Week card. It was going to be against Hermanson, where he ended up fighting Gastelum. But I planned on moving right at that date. I was in the process of moving houses, which ended up changing. I'm moving a little bit closer to my next fight. So I had to say no. I said I needed to August to be ready now since everything got messed up. And then they offered me Omari on August 8th.
So it all worked out. Yeah, because that would have been a bummer having to do a camp and then having to move. I hate moving. It's terrible. You're still staying in New York, though? You're just moving houses?
No, so I'm actually living in New York, man.
Really?
Yeah, so out by Wonder Boy, my sister lives out there, and she just had her second kid.
I saw that. Congratulations. You must feel pretty awesome as a family member there.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, got a new niece. I'm so happy for them. Great family. And so we're going to move a little bit closer to them. So a little bit closer to Charlotte. It's called Fort Mill. And I'm moving off Long Island. I mean, I'm still going to be traveling back and forth, training and stuff like that. But me and my family were moving, getting out of New York.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. Especially with all the COVID stuff, right? It makes a lot of sense to get out of there and be probably a little bit quieter out there too.
Yeah, New York honestly is kind of crazy right now. It's insane out here. So if there's a time to get out, it's now. And it just so happened, we had that ball rolling early because of family and everything. So kind of worked out. Man. It's gonna be weird. I've never left Long Island in my life. born, raised here, went to college here. So it's going to be weird to have a different address and to leave so many friends and stuff. But like, you know, my family's leaving. It's kind of, that's the beginning of the end. So
well,
I'll be back.
Good for you. I think that's a solid move. You know, when all that COVID stuff was going on, were you pretty limited in training at the time? Because I know, you know, talking to Aljo, he was telling me that, you know, the gym was kind of closed. He had to sort of train at home.
Yeah. Oh, originally I was literally just in my basement I was going to go into that Hermanson fight on May 2nd, just training, just doing some stuff on the treadmill, hitting the heavy bag with doing some Zoom classes with Longo and kind of just putting me through bag workouts. I'm like, you know, whatever, I'll go out there and fight and whatever, get it done. And I'm happy I didn't, because I ended up going out to Wonder Boys like a few weeks after that, and I sparred for the first time in a long time. And I was like, and I thought I was in decent shape just by hitting the heavy bag and treadmill and stuff like that. And then I realized, man, holy crap, I'm tired. So I'm happy I was able to train fully and be truly prepared for a fight, the way at least I'm used to.
How do you feel like you match up against Akhmedov in this fight?
I feel like I match up great. You know, he's a tough guy. He's like a caveman from Russia. You know, swings heavy and wild. You know, he's on a nice win streak. I think a 6-fight win streak. You know, so there's some, not that he's super known or anything, but you know, he's been doing his thing in the 85-pound division. But to be honest, I think I'm better everywhere. He gets tired. He swings heavy. Not that he's knocking too many people out. You know, he doesn't have that many knockouts, but he does swing wild. A little unorthodox, but he gets tired. And I just think I could pick him apart on the feet, just create a crazy pace, and just mentally and physically break him.
Do you think it's an advantage that you fought in your last fight at like heavyweight? He used to fight at welterweight. Do you feel like the size and the strength might be a difference in the fight as far as the matchup from a style perspective?
I could say, you know, listen, I could never make it. I could never make 70 in my life. Like, that just wouldn't happen. It would never be an option. So I'll probably be, I mean, he looks like he's a strong guy, but I could sustain a certain like level of strength and pace as a big guy that I think will wear on a guy who's a little bit smaller and just like strong. So yeah, I think I have a big advantage with that.
And you talked about training camp with Wonder Boy. Who else did you get to work with down there? And how much time did you spend back at home as far as your training partners at Longo MMA?
You know, so we're technically not allowed to be trained at the gym.
Right. So it never happened yet. There you go.
Yeah, definitely not.
Government could be watching.
Yeah, exactly. But out at Wonder Boys, I was there for 3.5 weeks at one point, and then I also did 2 weeks at another point, you know, kind of going back and forth. Wonder Boy, and they had a bunch of guys down there. They had another guy, Carl Reed, who was a 205-pounder, who he fought on the Contender Series twice. But he's a big athletic guy, weighs about 240 pounds. So it was good to have that weight, because the thing is, on Long Island, like, there was a bunch of guys I could work with, you know, guys who were training, but they're all smaller guys. And sometimes you need to feel that extra weight, you know, it gives a different cardio. So I went out there, I was able to get the size, and also be able to deal with that speed of Wonder Boy. Always gets your reaction times going. So it's been an unbelievable camp. I feel great. And I'm excited to go out there and make a statement and, you know, yeah, just kind of big statement back at 85, you know. Let's see what happens.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
So it just is kind of weird because of the COVID-19. Anybody in your corner, the only people you'll have to work out with at the UFC PI. So Longo's going to come out. Matt's not, because I need, you know, his knee's all beat up. I need somebody I can be working out with and someone I'm used to. So I got Ryan Pashvich, who's a really good wrestler and up-and-coming fighter. And then Aljamain Sterling as my strategist.
Very good. Good strategist to have. And obviously you're eating some food right now. I imagine the cut's going well as far as getting down to 85, because you've had a bit of notice for this, right?
So to be honest, it's been kind of a nightmare.
Okay.
Like, I have never eaten so clean for so long in my life and worked out so consistently. I mean, I thought I was fighting in May, then I thought I was fighting in June, and then it was possibly July, and then August. So I've been training throughout this whole thing, pretty hard, twice a day, and eating very clean for at least the last like 10 to 12 weeks, really clean. And my weight for a while, it just plateaued. I could not get under 215. I'm like, holy smokes, this is crazy. Like usually I could have, when I was kind of 85, I was always a decent 85 pounder, like as far as size, but I could have cheat meals, you know, I would have pizza here and there, some bagels, and my weight would still come down with hard training. This time, it wasn't even a thought. There was no chance of me having a cheat meal. If I had a cheat meal, I would have blown up. I would have been like right back to 220. And I'm just like, this is crazy. You know, getting older, all the time I've had now where I haven't made 85. I've been strength training now consistently for probably the first time in my career. I've been, basically since December. I haven't stopped strength training 3-4 times a week, which usually I'm the worst. I hate strength training, so I never really do it. And I feel like that's one regret I kind of have, is that I feel like that was a reason why I've had a lot of injuries. But yeah, so it plateaued around 215. It was really hard to get down, and thank God within the last like 2.5, 3 weeks, it's dropped now, and I'm like under 205 now, and I'm right there. But it's been a lot of discipline. A lot of discipline and hard work has got me to this point now.
How do you see the fight playing out on August 8th?
You know, I think I'm going to crack him with a good shot, take him down, climb the mount, ground and pound him for a TKO. He might give me his neck. He might give me his neck. I'll take that too. But we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of, there's I got another dance partner, so it really depends on how he's acting out there. If he's shooting in on me, I feel like I'm really good with those types of chokes and stuff like that. And we'll see how aggressive he is. But I plan on making him fight very, very hard. And I don't think he's going to be able to hold up. And I'll be on top of him. And once I get on top of him, he's going to be in trouble.
Where do you feel like a win would put you here? Because if you look at any of your losses, they're against top guys. So I feel like, especially if you get a finish here, you could be right back in the mix at 185.
Yeah. Listen, I held the middleweight belt longer than everybody other than the guy that I beat, Anderson Silva. So you can never take that away from me. I have lost 5 of my last 6 fights, but it's all been against top 5 guys. And it wasn't like I've been dominated in any of those fights. Honestly, other than the Reyes fight, it was all fights I was winning. And I think any other night, it's my night. It's just, the game, there's some randomness in the game, and sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think always the better guy wins. So, but either way, it was their night. But I think I'm capable of beating anybody. And we'll see what the UFC wants to do. I just got to go out there and make a big statement, and then I'll let the fans and the UFC decide who they want me to fight next. But I'm excited. I'm really excited about this one.
Before we go, I got to mention this because the last time you and I talked, you said you'd never do an interview with me again because I filmed that Madden thing with you and Volante. I got to know, have the Madden skills improved? Did you avenge your loss to him after we last spoke?
Yes. Yes. I don't know if you know this, but I was the Madden 20 champion. I won multiple celebrity tournaments, $25,000 in one tournament towards charity, $10,000 in another tournament towards charity, and then $500 in charity in another tournament. So 3 tournaments I won this year. Volante, he stinks. We were playing on Xbox, wasn't used to it. He stinks. I just wasn't used. I don't know. I was off that day. What can I say? Bad day.
Well, you're definitely on here today, man, Chris. Really appreciate the time as always. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any, sponsors or shoutouts or anything like that, man, the floor is yours.
Chris Weidman on everything. Chris Weidman, Weidman. Give me a follow. ChrisWeidman.com. Monster Energy. the best. CBDMD, amazing stuff, makes you feel so much better. Flex It. If you're looking for a gym somewhere to work out, all you got to do is open up the Flex It app, and it tells you where to go, and you don't have to like fill out any paperwork. Awesome app. Fellowship Mortgage Loans, the best mortgage company in the world. Great people are running it, and right now is the best time to refinance or to get a mortgage. I mean, literally, I'm buying a house right now, and I got 2.375% interest rate. Like, it's basically free money. So, and if you have a loan out right now on a house, and it's definitely a good time to refinance. You know, most people have loans at like 5-6%, anywhere from 4 to 6%. You know, you bring that back down to 2.5%. You're saving yourself a lot of money.
Jeez, you've been hanging out with Iaquinta a lot.
Fellowship Mortgage, baby. Yeah. Al Jermaine. Everyone's in the real estate out here in New York.
As they should be.
I own 2 rental properties. No big deal. I gotta keep it going now.